All right. Welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where we're anything but silent. I'm your host, Josiane. I'm joined by Janelle and the first evicted house guest of the season, Janine. Janine, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on here. I love that we're all J names. J.
It's giving Jay. I love it. I
It's
love it.
giving
I love
J.
it. Before we dive into the interview, I did want to take the time to congratulate you on being on the show. It's a
Thank you.
huge accomplishment, and I
It
hope you're
is.
proud of yourself and all the work you put into. I know your family is proud as well. So
Yes.
wear that badge with pride.
Thank you. I will.
And so we'll get into the interview. I'll ask you a bunch of questions. So now, in the beginning, we see you join Victoria's entourage. We see you also kind of make these connections with the 40 and over house guests, and then
Hmm.
obviously Big Sister with the women. So who were
Yes,
your true allegiances for individually? Like, were there any house guests that were like in your top three?
absolutely. I did within the Big Sisters, I made a smaller alliance with Spicy, Avery, and Bailey. That was kind of like my top four in the very early stages of the game.
Mhm.
Awesome. I had a question. We saw you
Yes.
have a conversation with Spicy in the house where she talked about that she might have revealed to Dougie that there was a girls' alliance and that
Hmm.
she was aligned with him at some point. Did you ever consider using that, talking to other house guests, maybe try to use that to stay in the game?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because I love powerful women, and I
Mhm.
came into this season saying a woman has to win this season. There's only been three in the 10 full seasons of Big Brother Canada. And when I walked into the house and I saw the fellow house guests, I was like, wow, this might be the season to do that. Maybe we'll make history as the first all-female alliance and knock out all the men and make sure there's two women in the end. And so once I realized my game was over, as soon as Anthony said I was the target, week one, I didn't have a leg to stand on. Nobody was going to rock the boat. No one was going to go against him. And so I was like, you know what? If I came here to do anything, it's to make sure that I see the females succeed in this game. So yes, I could have blown up Spicy's game. I could have let the girls know that she'd lead the alliance, but I didn't want to do that. I want to see a woman win, and so that's what I'm leaving with.
So we kind of touched on Anthony. So I know that Anthony did put you on the block, but do you feel like he is fully responsible for your eviction, or do you feel like people had a hand in your eviction as well?
I think I think people were probably dancing around Anthony. Like again, he's such a force that
Mm.
they were just probably like who are you thinking about putting up and trying to play nicey nicey just to make sure that the target wasn't going on him. And then as soon as he kind of mentioned my name, they were probably like, oh yeah, yeah, I support you in that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then they were all playing games and relaxed and building up their social games. And then so as soon as that target went on me, I went into defensive mode. I was trying to go around and convince these people like I am a super fan. I would not say Anthony's name. That is such a rookie move. Like, and I know you've only known me for 4 days, but do you think I would do that? And then it wasn't until I had lost the POV, my chances were done, that people finally were like, I believe you. I don't think you said those things. Like, I don't think you're gunning for him. So it was just so frustrating. He just literally pinned me in a corner and there was no getting out of it. Had it been, even week two, three, four, I think I would have been able to sway people. They would have known me better. People are just scared to play the game at this point. People wanna play safe, do what Anthony says. And I was the one that fell because of it.
So I thought you were just such a bright light in the house. I thought you were super,
Thank you.
super fun. I want to know from your perspective, what do you think landed you as one of the first targets and ultimately the one to be evicted first?
Just the way that the entourages fell, it
Mhm.
just made the picking pool so much smaller. So it went from being 12 players to six. And oh, there's an all girls alliance. We got to get two girls up there. So now it's down to three. And
Right.
then, if you were to look at it, I was the oldest female player. That makes me kind of stick out more than the younger two. The younger two were a little bit more quieter with their games. I was more kind of like, I was just more vocal about like female power, all girls alliance, let's do this. I was just, it's the way my cookie crumbled, as I keep saying. I remember my cookie crumbled in the Big Brother house and I just could not pick up the pieces.
So now hindsight being 2020,
Yes.
obviously there are dynamics in play in the house. So what do
Yeah.
you think are the dynamics truly within the house now that you've been evicted?
I think that the girls, as I was leaving, I was learning more and more that the big sister thing is a joke. I felt like every time I was around the girls, they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm with the girls, I'm with the girls. And I could just see right through it. I knew it wasn't, and they were just doing it to appease me and make it seem like it was still a thing. So yeah, that's kind of where I was at with that. Sorry, ask the question again. I just want to like make sure I'm
Like, where do
answering
you
it.
think the dynamics lie? If Big Sister truly isn't the alliance, where do you think people are at? Who do you think is kind of at the top, at the bottom?
I do think Spicy is working with Anthony. I think they think they're running the show. But they're the biggest move in this game. So I don't think they should, and it must have felt amazing coming into the game second time around. I've got this, I'm protected. But those house guests are extremely intelligent, a lot more super fans than what they're letting on. And the biggest move in that house is to get out Anthony and Victoria, and their time is coming. It's going to be sooner than they think.
I saw you just a couple of times talk about, oh, it's so sad seeing you so down, but I saw you talk about that you didn't feel like you stood a chance. And I was like, Janine, I thought you had fight. I thought you could do it. I just wanted to know, why didn't you feel like you stood a chance in there?
I know as a super fan, I know I'm gonna watch myself and I'll be screaming at myself on the TV because I do that as a super fan. But once you're in that house, it is a whole other ball game. And again, Anthony, you're the target, Janine. I want you out. Everyone's like, yes, Anthony, that's what we want. I could barely talk to people. I try to talk game to people. They wouldn't make eye contact with me. They try to exit the room as quick as possible. It got to the point where I was like, guys, I don't want to talk game anymore, because it was difficult conversation after difficult conversation of people not wanting to talk to me. I felt like I was a cancer in the house. And if people hung out with me too long, they too would get the cancer. So it was impossible. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm choosing joy. I'm in the Big Brother Canada house. I want to get to know these house guests. If that's the best thing I can do going out of here. So I'd be like, I don't want to talk game. Tell me about your partner at home, or tell me what you do for a living. Like, I had to do that for myself, for my own, mental health in the game, because I was going green in the face trying to nonstop tell people like, I didn't do these things. Like, do you have my back? How can we shake things up? They just had no interest in talking to me about that.
Okay.
Well, I would love to keep talking to you, but our time is running up. So I'm going to ask you
Okay.
one last question, sorry, and it's a
Yes.
little game.
Okay.
So the game is called "And the Superlative Goes to go in line with the theme of the season. So I'm going to
Okay.
give you a word, and I want you to identify who that category belongs to. So
Ooh, I love this.
yes. So the
Let's
first
do it.
superlative is going to be, who do you believe is the sneakiest player?
Spicy.
Okay. Who do you think is the most underrated player currently?
Donna.
Okay. And who do you think is maybe underestimated?
Underestimated. I'm going to say Todd. I'm going to give it to Todd. He's an observer. He's observing quite a lot.
And who do you think is kind of laying low and playing the middle?
Vivek.
Okay. Lastly, who do you think is going to win the season?
I'm going to give it to Donna again. I really hope she takes it all the way.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for talking with me and Janelle. It was a pleasure seeing you. You were fun TV. It was fun to root for you, and I hope the rest of your journey this season goes well, viewing it from home and engaging with
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to watch. I'm like, that's how much of a super fan I am. I'm like, if I'm not in anymore, I'm still gonna watch because I love it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Take
Thank you,
care.
Janine.
Great talking to you both.